Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, G.
Finally, you introduced me. Hi, Dr.
Do you know I've been waiting for that? It feels like it's been weeks.
Weeks?
Yes, months.
You mean?
Good morning, OG. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Perfect.
Happy Good Friday.
Yes.
TGIF. Well, happy Good Friday. That's a good one. And happy Good Friday to you viewers. We begin what's trending today in China. Many African users on social media have lamented alleged racist treatment of Africans by the Chinese government amid the coronavirus pandemic. Users allege that the Chinese authorities have imposed an illegal quarantine on Africans, forcing many out of their homes and seizing their passports. Let's take a quick listen to a video of a Ugandan woman by the name Victoria in the city of Shenzhen, China, narrating her ordeal on live television.
Because when we try to use that, like if you want to use a bus and you enter a bus, all the Chinese come out. They all come out and they leave you in the bus alone, like they're protesting they can't travel with an African. Another challenge is some of our friends have been thrown out of the houses they've been renting with no reason, not anything. The landlord just comes one morning and tells you, please make sure that today you leave my house. And another thing is, another challenge is, they are forcing us to test for COVID-19. They come to our houses with no notification. They just come to your house and ask for your passport.
Well, we have another video of a Nigerian diplomat berating Chinese officials for impounding Nigerian passports. Let's take a quick listen before we come back to a discussion.
Oh, give me all the Nigerian passports.
Individual here.
How many? I have 3 here.
Yes, 3.
One. Is non-acceptable to the federal government of Nigeria. In Nigeria, as I mentioned to you last time, we have a lot of Chinese there. I don't think you have ever received any information that the government of Nigeria go to their various houses and pick them and quarantine them. You can never receive such information. The first 14 days is acceptable by us. Another 14 days, you didn't communicate to us that you are going to do another 14 days after 14 days. They have tested negative, and then they have given them the paper. Why are they giving them another 14 days? That is one. 2, all the police, the documents, these passports belong to the federal government of Nigeria. In line with international practice, no any country have the right to seize the international passport of another country. Wait! They are not in my hand. I just withdraw it from them. They seize it.
You have that.
I said they seize it. And then you know, your deputy general, all the passports of Nigeria they seize. Ask him. He was released yesterday. Why are they seizing Nigerian passport? It not belong to the China. If you seize Nigerian passport, it's like you are seizing Nigeria as a whole. It's not acceptable. That's another thing. The third one I'm going to tell you, you didn't communicate to us that you are going to go to all the Nigerian houses and then you are going to ask them to come out and go and quarantine them. Did you communicate to us? No. Nobody communicated to us.
Well, I mean, it's good that this information is coming to light. It's good that the hashtag China Must Explain is trending. But I mean, at the same time, I can't say I'm surprised that this is happening. I've repeated on the show many times this week. What we're looking at here, what we're dealing with here is a communist state. Okay, that already have the lack of respect for people, which is why a lot of people have had a lot of skepticism around the way China have handled the coronavirus to begin with anyway. Right. However, seizing Nigerian passports, Doctor, you've practiced law, studied law anyway, sorry. Tell us more or enlighten us. Does any authority from another government have the right to seize, and not just one, several passports on the basis of a pandemic or anything to do with checks or whatever it was we were seeing there?
Well, I think, one, we need to put this in context. Even before COVID-19, there have been problems in terms of relationship between Africans living in China and the Chinese system itself. And it has nothing to do, I guess, with ideology. It has to do more with racism and also just sheer prejudice.
Yeah.
Indeed, in 2009 and in 2012, Africans living in China, particularly in the Shenzhen, Guangzhou region, ended up rioting, in protest against how they were being treated. Some people may say, well, Africans, particularly Nigerians, who are over 10,000 in China, tend to be considered too aggressive, and many of them, are involved in the drug business. But that does not, justify racism or prejudice or the violation of the rights of persons who are within the country. Many of them, of course, legally. Some traders who come in and go out. Now, what has happened now is that in the context of COVID-19 and the panic and anxiety, the outsider is looked upon with suspicion. The racism, the prejudice has become more pronounced. But I think in the video that has been shown, the lady from Uganda, in fact, even pointed out that they are denied access to supermarkets. They are denied access to medical treatment.
To hospitals, which is a really big
just
problem
on the basis that they are black people.
Disgusting.
They are not even allowed in public transportation.
Correct.
In some places. Now, that's sheer racism, and it is unacceptable.
Yes.
It's against all international protocols. The second part in that video is to see the officials from the Nigerian embassy standing up for the rights of Nigerians and saying, you cannot maltreat our people.
Yeah.
The protest that was put there was verbal, was a conversation. In diplomatic relations, I'm not too sure that has much effect. I hope that the officials, maybe the Consul General, the other official that was there, will have gone back to the office to register a formal protest with the government of China and to say that this is unacceptable, this is how our people are being treated.
Yeah.
The third leg of the argument is the evacuation of Nigerians that are abroad. There are many Nigerians in China, UK, and the US who want to be evacuated. The Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission has given conditions. First, you must have a health certificate showing that you are negative. Two, you must be ready to pay for your flight. Now, in the light of the way people are being treated in China, maybe the government of Nigeria should take a second look at it. If there are persons who are actually in distress, particularly persons who went to China for business and got stranded there, government will consider, paying for their flight and bringing them back home if they are willing to come back home. But on no condition must anybody be maltreated on the basis of color or race.
I agree with you, Dr. Abati. And that official that you mentioned, it was not just verbal. There was another video that was going on social media that he was attacked as well. There was blood on his face. There was blood on his shirt as well. Correct. He was attacked as well. And the accusation a lot of Africans are saying is that the Chinese people are accusing them of even starting the coronavirus pandemic. That they're the ones who started, the
people who started it themselves.
The Chinese people are saying Africans are the people that started coronavirus. And that's the accusation, as an allegation at this point.
This is why so many people around the world find China to be extremely racist. They continue to show themselves more and more and more and more. At the end of the day, how can the Nigerian government even get the test results that they want from their citizens to evacuate them if our citizens in China, or if anybody that's black, cannot even get access to a hospital?
Correct.
So how can they even get tested?
Correct.
At the end of the day, Nigerians need to be evacuated from China.
African governments to stand up for their people.
I agree with you.
Because you see, there's a lot of relationship between China and African countries at the government-to-government level.
Yes. Correct.
And China says it has discovered Africa. But that must translate in terms of people-to-people relationship. And that, I think, is what needs to be worked upon, and it will require leadership on every front.
Absolutely. I believe the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyema, also tweeted that he had a conversation with the ambassador to China in Nigeria. So hopefully something comes out of that. But it's very important. It's not just Nigeria. It's the whole world. The UN also has to get involved in this because these people are sleeping outside. There are videos floating around that these Nigerians are on the streets of China.
Let's just get our citizens out.
Remember, they're kicking them out of their homes. They're not allowing them in the hospitals.
No, even landlords chase them out.
It's so disgraceful. And you know what? the approach that was taken by the private sector when we had the xenophobic attacks going on in South Africa, and thank God for the private sector stepping in with Air Peace, chartering their plane back and forth. Maybe if government is not going to act quick enough, maybe we can urge private sector to maybe once again come in, step in and help Nigerians through this situation, because right now we cannot afford for our people to continue to be treated like animals.
Already have to bring the Chinese medical
Exactly. He already did the equipment, you know, so...
let's hope that the Chinese, the Nigerians and the Africans in China are willing to come back home as well, because basically they have their businesses there. That is their livelihood. So, you know, it has to be a negotiation.
Well, if they're sleeping on the streets.
Thank you, Oji.
Yes. Oji, thank you.
We'll see you on Monday.
Have a great Easter.